Attacking the king is not the alien gambit. It's not blindly pushing the H-pawn down the board like your Stockfish 17. Today, let me introduce you to the rules of attack and defense to help you gain ELO in a heartbeat. This video is dedicated to the Chess960 tutorial series, but in this video, there's far more than that. I will show you 2 games by elite grandmasters and explain 4 puzzles from my puzzle series, with a bonus tip and a challenge at the end. Let us go through the epic king hunts together, from shocking sacrifices in the opening to a beautiful smothered mate in the endgame. I promise it will help you. Let's begin today with a crazy game between Vincent Keymer and Fabiano Caruana. The position was still balanced up to move 12. Yes, that's the magic of 960. Even top 3 players can blunder early on. Look at Keymer, opening lines, move 25, and storming into the exposed king. The final blow came when rook a6 threatens to skewer the queen and the king. The game was quick and to the point. It's all rooks and queens, the core material to attack an exposed king. Not satisfied yet? Let's keep going. That last game was a full-out king hunt using only the heavy pieces. Now let me show you this game between world champion Gukesh and the Prince Alireza Firouzja. This is a carefully developed attack by Black, and it shows us how to start an attack from nowhere. Indeed, Gukesh did not play up to his strength, but this game is a masterclass of attack by Firouzja. First up, you activate your queen. Next, castle and develop every piece you have. You need them for action. Here, Gukesh played g takes f6, anticipating a recapture. But he blunders into the rook stack on the d-file. Black could have played knight takes b3, initiating a sacrifice that opens up the king, and after a few moves, white gets demolished by the rook and queen. Yet that was not played in the game. But anyhow, it ended quickly. The queen was forced to be exchanged unfairly, and in a few moves, Gukesh resigned. This game is a great example of how you can win a game in 20 moves by using your pieces and attacking your opponent's pieces. All the white pieces can do is stand around and do nothing. But this isn't the wildest attack. Check out this king caught in the middle of the board by 4 pieces. In this position, could you possibly have imagined the best move here is rook to the e-file? Yes, not a check, not an attack, but a quiet killing move, sealing off the king's escape. This is what you call a mating net. Now the king can't escape, and look at this follow-up. Queen to f3, sacrificing the king, but threatening knight h5 checkmate. So Black can only respond with kg7, but the queen sack isn't over yet. Queen f6, another sacrifice, either delivering checkmate on the h-file or luring the king back to f6 to get mated by the knight again. Impressive, isn't it? And if you think mating the king is all about the queen, let me prove you wrong. Rooks show great strength as well, only if you use them to their extreme. The technique of trapping the king still works in queenless endgames. Now let me introduce you to the net rule. Neutralize, encircle, transit. What does it mean? Let's tackle it together. You probably can guess what encircle means. You trap your opponent's king with your pieces. Indeed, you are correct. But let me show you how this can be done in the endgame, with your king only. First, let's begin with a simple model, a famous rook versus pawn position. Surprisingly, white can play and win here. Tell me how. Yes, I know, many of you would have said, king c5 is one for white. But double check. Black can play rook d1 and hold a draw with the threat of rook c1. If you're not careful, you'll even lose. Let me show you how you're supposed to win. You begin with running the king down, only on the b-file. Once you reach b3, the classic rook checkmate position, remember the positioning of the 2 kings. You'll see it several times today. You should go to c2. Black has no way to stop the promotion, so he plays rd4. Now what do? Promote to a queen? Nope. You run into rc4 and you're forced into a stalemate. Did you get tricked? If you did, click that subscribe button because you need to learn from this channel. Instead, under-promote to a rook. Now black is forced to bring the rook to a 4 to block checkmate, and you play king to b3, the final blow. Mate is threatened on c1 and black will lose his rook and go on to lose the game. What does this composition teach you? You can block your opponent's king with your own, and you should be careful of your opponent's threats. Neutralize them, and you will be okay. Up next, let's try something harder. This time, your king already wrestled down your opponent's king, but someone else needs to give the final blow. Who? Your rook, of course. Now, in this puzzle, what you do is swing your rook back and forth and reposition your king to create different checkmate threats. You need the black rook to be in a passive position so that it can't stop you. Notice the pawn structure is an advantage for you. Your opponents cannot check you. Now let's examine how you're supposed to win. First, you lure the rook away and create a mate threat down the h-file. Once he responds, you create the same threat down the e-file. Now you come back to c7 with your king and give a mate threat on the a-file. All the time your king and rook work together while the black rook is doing the hard work itself. The final step? You lure the rook to g4, and now with king to b6, mate cannot be stopped. The black rook is successfully limited, and you can ambush the weak black king. The next puzzle is extremely hard. I dare say many GMs would fail on this puzzle. However, if you understood the net strategy perfectly, you can give it a go. Let's check the answer. g8 queen, takes, rook g5, takes, king to c2. An unbelievable move. Pawn to b5, a 6, b6, a 7, bishop d6, rook h8, bishop a3, rook h1, king a2, a8 queen, queen e5. And now what? Can you spot it? Yes, rook a1, another brilliancy. No matter what you take with white mate's next move. Isn't this spectacular? If you got it before I showed you the answer, you have gained the right to go down into the comment section to let the world know. You're a true genius. Now you must be wondering, what is the logic behind the puzzle? Step 1, neutralize threats. You clean off the back rank to activate your hidden rook. Step 2, you weave the mating net with king c2. Notice something funny? The black queen can't possibly check your king. Now black is forced to play b5 or else checkmate. The process continues as black avoids checkmate and you threaten checkmate. Now the final piece of the puzzle, rook a1, mate in 2. What a puzzle. 3 puzzles done. I believe you have already learned a ton. But now I've got dessert, a special treat for people who watch the entire way. Yet another puzzle, only it has never been shown on my channel. One of the most famous compositions there is. Here it is. I will give you the first move and try to guess what the purpose of the move is. Keep in mind what we learned today, and you can do it. There is no threat to neutralize, so proceed with encircling the king. Hint, your opponent's pieces block their own king. Now all you need is to bring the right pieces to checkmate. You can mate with a pawn capture. Now begin thinking. I'll give you 5 seconds to pause the video. Got it? I hope you did. The first move here is h5 and then f5. Both rooks are lured to the 5th rank, and the black king is trapped. Now g4 forks both rooks. After rook e5 getting away, you play bishop to f5. The same trick is used and the king is trapped again. Now knight g7 is unstoppable, mate. Bravo, we did it. We hunted the king from opening to endgame. What's your favorite battlefield? Tell me below. In the next video, we will focus on middle game strategies like playing in the center. Pawn play isn't just in the opening after all. Do you think you can checkmate your next opponent? If you're not sure yet, watch this to boost your skill and elevate your rating next.